Footbap Nation.
Let's ride.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Fantasy Footbaps podcast. It's me, your host, B Dizzle, joined by my co-host, Paul. Paul, say what up.
What up, LA Dodgers fans?
Oh, man. That's not going to make Chip happy. Yeah, we got a jam-packed week for you guys. Some crazy matchups this week, close games that weren't close that ended up being close that we'll get into. A lot of crazy shit. Everything's kind of changing. We got some crazy movement in the power rankings from ESPN and stuff. So it should be a pretty fun little recap. Paul, you ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's take a look.
All right, I say first matchup we go through, just a quick little boring one real quick. Ryan versus Paul. Paul, do you want to go through... So, Ryan beats Paul by 50. Do you want to go through real quick what exactly happened?
Well, Jordan Mason gets hurt. Javonte Williams does nothing.
Oh, this was an interesting one.
He was supposed to have 20.
Yeah, this...
T. Higgins ruled out on Friday because his body is made of tissue paper. So I have to throw in someone, and I have to pick between Cortland Sutton or go on the waivers.
It's bad.
So I didn't trust Cortland Sutton's 0-point performance last week.
But we definitely trusted Andre Yoshiva's 0-point performance, right?
Okay, that's because I didn't care about that. I cared about his first 3 weeks. Because that was without T. Higgins. So okay.
Yeah, when he had 2 catches for 7 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I figured there would be a guaranteed touchdown against the shitty Philly pass defense. So that was what I was backing on.
But not the shitty Carolina pass defense for Cortland Sutton.
Because he had 0, man. I don't like that.
Okay, but so did Yoshiva.
Yeah, but it's because Higgins was playing in those games. But either way, it didn't make a difference. If I had 10 more points, big deal. I just got shit on by Josh Jacobs masterclass, Marvin Harrison masterclass, George Kittle doing what he's doing for some reason, stays consistent. We all know that's never happened in his career. That shit keeps happening.
Lamar and Kittle are the most consistent they've ever been in their entire careers. Mm-hmm. The one season that Ryan drafts both of them, which is... insane. Like, Lamar's been in the league since 2018. George Kittle, like, around the same time. Like, it's completely unprecedented that the year that Ryan drafts both of them, they randomly become consistent. They have never been consistent. They've been George Kittle's a career 25, 22, 0, 3, 2, 18, 15, 2, 3, like, kind of guy. And then Lamar's just a career like 35, 12, 15, 14, 28, 30, 10, 12. Like, they've never been, and now they just basically... Kittle essentially scores 15 plus every week, or 12 plus every week. And then Lamar, as he might have had... He had 18 one time, 16 one time, 25 plus every other week. It's like, it's unbelievable what's happening here. Mm-hmm. But back to what you were saying, like, yeah, you lost by 50, so it didn't matter. But, like, literally the only changes I would have made, like, I just would not have started Yoshiva's. It's just because Cortland Sutton was playing Carolina that I would be like, I have to start him, like, might as well. And then the other one, like, and this is just because I have Jordan Mason in my family league. Like, I just, after all those weeks of him sucking, I was like, dude, I just can't trust him. Like,
yeah, but
so it's just the fact that it was
bad, and the guy who came in for him had a great game. So I think he's just fucked.
No, yeah, it was just more so like you have Jonathan Taylor on your bench. Is like, if I had Jonathan Taylor and Jordan Mason, I'd be like, I can't. Like, I already benched Jordan Mason in my family league like a couple weeks ago. Maybe last week I started, like, I don't know, but either way you wouldn't have won anyways. So what would that have done? You would have lost by like 15 instead of 50. Like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so. It was just a big matchup favoring choices and didn't work out. But yeah, Ryan having QB1, tight end 1, you can't beat that.
This was Josh Jacobs' best game of the year by a mile.
That too.
Yeah,
can't ignore that. And Marvin having a phenomenal game.
Best game by a mile.
Yeah, most are getting 8 carries, 2 of which are touchdowns. It's pretty lame.
Yeah,
but
you just had.
I lost. I'll take it. Whatever.
Yeah, you're 5-3. You're guaranteed a playoff spot. But Ryan's 6-2, which is, I would say, you're 90% guaranteed a spot. Like, in order for you not to
Ryan's
make
pretty
it,
much locked in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in order for you not to make it, you would probably have to finish like 2-5 or something, or 2-4, like something like that. Yeah, Ryan would have to finish. He would literally have to like win no more than one game. That would be shocking if he didn't make it. Another one here. Let's just go through this one. A game that I didn't pay much attention to because I feel like it wasn't close really at any point. Like, Kyle beats Nick 125-95. The Jalen Hurts, like, is Jalen Hurts back? Like, remember he was pretty mid for like the beginning of the season. Then now he's kind of turned it up. Now he rushes for 3 touchdowns in a game. Like, maybe, it's also they played Cincy, which helps. But yeah, no, that's it's just a good game all around from Kyle. I can't believe he started Ramondre and it paid off. That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Ramondre has to be like the worst fantasy player to have because like you play Jacksonville and they're like one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Now, obviously he was injured, so you had to take that into account. But 3 points. Last time he played the Jets, he had 0.3. Now he plays the Jets after scoring 3 points. He gets 22. Like, I don't even know what the hell's going on.
His average of 2.4. He's lucky he got those touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was just 2 touchdowns is what did it for him. Yeah, 20 carries for 48 yards. You can't really bank on touchdowns in the Patriots offense. So, but I do remember thinking when everything was like before the week started, it was Puka Nacua. It's on Kyle's bench. And I actually had the thought, because Sean McVay, and there's other NFL coaches too, but Sean McVay is always saying one thing and then the opposite happens. So what did he say about Puka on Thursday night? He said he's going to be extremely limited. That was a fucking lie. I think he got thrown to like 10 times. He had like 100-something yards. So he was not limited even at all. Yeah, thrown to 9 times, 106 receiving yards. So McVay is just a fucking liar. You can't trust anything he says. When I saw what happened was, I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was like, man, if I had Puka, I wouldn't start him. Like, I'd be afraid of him being limited. And when McVay came out and said he would be limited, I texted them back and I was like, okay, wait, I think you want to start Puka because McVay is always lying about this shit. And sure enough, he was lying. So, yeah, Nick's just shorthanded right now. No Nico Collins. You throw Nico in, he'd probably score 20, and Nick only loses by 10 here. But, a Joe Burrow piss class.
Douglas in there.
Yeah, Joe Burrow piss class. Amon-Ra has been good, but like slightly disappointing. Like,
damn, I didn't realize he had 2 for 7, but a touchdown.
Yeah, that it's been weird because 2 targets, 6, and it's like, man, if you think about last year, I feel like 6 was the least he was targeted in a game, and it only happened a couple times. So I don't know. The Detroit's weird. I feel like their running game is guaranteed, but now their passing game is weird. Like, they don't even throw to Laporta anymore. Like, the only reason he got passes this weekend, I think he only had like 2 targets, and they were both on like trick plays, but I think he scored on both of them or something. Yeah, starting Pop Douglas was, I probably, I don't know. Julian McLaughlin probably hadn't done much, but yeah, I don't know. Nick was in a tough spot. Honestly, this game wasn't nearly as close, but I think the Steelers had like a pick 6 or something in the 4th quarter, right? Or something weird like that.
Had a bunch of shit going on.
Yeah.
They had a punt return, I think. Was that it? Yeah, that's
what it was. That's what it was. Yeah. But yeah, no, Kyle wins by 30. Nick and Kyle are both 5-3, so Nick's no longer up in first place anymore after that one. A pretty big yet not big matchup here. Austin beats Dave by 25. It's so weird. Austin had got 5 points from Jordan Love, but then it's like 27 from James Cook, 24 from Devon Achane, 17 for McBride. Now, remember, we had Austin's 5-3 after this win. Remember, we had talked about it. Wasn't even the fact that we were like this trade is bad for Austin, like long term. It was just more like Austin needs to win now. Like, still, Austin is in a position. He was 2-5. Like, that means he has to end the season 6-1 to have a chance, you know? So he's got one of the wins. He can only afford one more loss the rest of the season. But yeah, Dave's team just doesn't really come through. Dave starts Cole Kmet over Kate Otten, which was crazy. I don't think it mattered in the end because, yeah, he lost by 25. But that was just an absurd...
Classic Cole Kmet experience.
Yeah, that was an absurd decision by Dave. And then Rachaad White, it's just, you know, Dave started him all season long. He started benching him last week, and Rachaad keeps coming through. So I don't think the combination of if he started Otten and Rachaad White would have at least made it close. I don't know if he would have won, and I don't feel like doing the math. But I don't know. Malik Neighbors, I feel like... I don't know what 13 targets, but it almost doesn't even matter, you know? Like, it's
Daniel
so
Jones
weird.
Back to being piss? So I haven't really watched.
Daniel Jones has never not been piss. We have 6 seasons of Daniel Jones being piss on camera.
No, but after I'd say
4K.
The Cowboys game, you look good. I would say Daniel Jones did.
He looked good.
Yeah,
Let's look at his stats.
Didn't they play well?
If I look this up and he threw for like 225 yards and 1 touchdown or something.
One of those games you look good, I swear. But now he's back to being
I'm going to be pissed if this is... Let's see. Cowboys, 280 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick.
All right. Forget I said that.
Oh, are you talking about the Browns game? Because he did shred the Browns when we... I will say, we made him look good that game. I guess it looks like he did fine against Seattle. I don't know. It's Daniel Jones, dude. This is his entire fucking career. Either way, though, it was kind of funny when Malik Neighbors came back last week against Philly. I don't know if I'm able to find it, but I was looking up rankings, or maybe I was just looking at ESPN's rankings or something. There are like 8 analysts or something like that, 8 or 9 analysts. Last week against Philly, all 8 of them ranked Malik Neighbors as the number 1 receiver on the week. And I was like, what the fuck is Pittsburgh? No, I meant to against Philly. This was against Philly. But all that to say, like, I was like, the Malik Neighbors narrative has gone like a little bit too far now, because I still think he's awesome and I would like love to have him on my team. But the fact that every single ESPN fantasy analyst ranked him as the number 1 receiver in a week, I was like, how that like doesn't even make sense when you have like Jamar Chase or AJ Brown or who else are like the top receivers? Like, whatever it was, it's like sometimes those things make me laugh, dude. I just don't even know like where they come up with. It would be one thing if he was the number 1 because like maybe 3 or 4 guys ranked him 1 and then the other guys ranked him like 2 or 3 or something. Like every single one ranking him 1, like he's a rookie and it's his 5th start and it's off of injury. Like, what the fuck are they doing over there at ESPN, dude? And that's why you can't get fucking trades done in ESPN, because I have a feeling a lot of people in our league probably just look at what ESPN's telling them, and ESPN is just like wrong a shit ton. You know what I mean? Like just straight up wrong. Who else? There's someone that like, was it Kyle Pitts last year that every week he would be projected like 8.5 plus points, and he just never even got close to it any week. And it was
never passed like 5.
Yeah, and it was like, man, I don't know who is projecting these things, but like sometimes they're just fucking wrong, dude. DJ Moore has projected 13 points like every week. He's gone below that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 games. 6 or 7 games he's under that every week. And I know that for sure because I have fucking DJ Moore in my work league, dude. I don't even play him anymore in my work league. I haven't. I think I played him against Carolina because it was Carolina. And then I've benched him. Actually, I did fucking play him against Jacksonville because it's Jacksonville. But I benched him this week, dude. Like I was like, I'm done with his ass. So yeah, it's good. It's interesting. Brian Robinson is in a kind of a weird spot where every week he's projected like 15 points, and like he gets like around there. But I'm like, I don't know. Oh my God, Najee was projected 15. Whatever. Austin gets a much needed win. Dave is now. We'll get to the standings, but Well, we'll just get to this right now. Then we might as well, because I'm already alluding to it. Dave is now in last place. So Austin, I guess, technically was right about Dave's team being complete piss at that point in time, because Mike beats Gorman to get his second win in a row. He's got 2 wins on the season. Gorman, a crushing loss. I mean, I have to say, shout out to Mike at this point, and I'd give Dave a shout out too if he started beating people, because both of them have just been giving free wins. There have been, let's see, Mike has 6 losses and Dave has 7 losses, so 13 free wins were handed out to like you and Ryan and Nick and everyone else in the league so far this year. None of them to me, so I need them to start winning these games. And dude, Mike pulls it off. Did we say that we were worried about this one at all? There was an upset that we were afraid of, and I can't remember what it was.
It's kind of insane. Well, I mean, Mike did have Tyrone Tracy in there before, but I guess
Tyrone Tracy scored. Yeah, Austin texted me and was like, "Dude, holy shit! Mike took Tyrone Tracy out of his lineup. Like, Mike's still trying." And I was like, that honestly makes me happy that Mike, awesome. Started 0-6 and he's at least still trying. Like, big brain move taking him out in case he fumbles and gets hurt. Like, genius stuff from Mike. So Mike just running laps around Gorman this week.
Yeah, the funniest thing is the Calvin Ridley masterclass. That had it. But also, he was a 27-point underdog there. That's a pretty all right, with Tyrone Tracy, and we'll count it as 19, but 19-point underdog gets the win. That's pretty big, Mike. Congrats.
Yeah, that was definitely it was a big day for Mike. And big win. Michael Pittman only gets him 2, and it doesn't matter. And now
Corbin's team did play well. Besides Amari and Caleb Williams, Saquon had a bad game considering his standards, but 2 guys have a bad game and you lose to Mike. That's tough.
This is all. Yeah, all I'm gonna say right now is these were the only things I was worried about with Gorman's team. Is what happens when Caleb Williams isn't playing the 2 worst defenses in the NFL, or the Colts are a bottom 5 one. When he's played competent defenses, he just kind of gets shit on. But it looks like he plays a lot of bad defenses until a certain point. Holy shit, he's gonna have to play Green Bay's defense is good, Minnesota's defense is good, Detroit's is fine. What happens with Detroit is they go up and then teams just throw a shit ton on them. San Fran, Minnesota again. So that's one thing that would worry me about it. And then the other thing is Saquon, where it's and Derrick Henry, where, I mean, Gorman, basically all 4 of his wins have been on the back of Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, so if they don't combine for 50, it's, I would imagine that any week they haven't combined for 40 have probably been losses for Gorman. Now they're going to combine for 40, at least half of the weeks. I mean, he's 4-4, so I guess that makes sense. But yeah, the other thing I want to point out is, people were upset about that trade Gorman made. I didn't really understand it. Devontae Smith comes back. He gets 18 points. And now at this point, Gorman needed a wide receiver now, even looking at it right now, he would have started Lazard, he'd get 0, Hopkins 3, Keenan Allen 4. He lost to Mike, but I think it was the right move. Chubb just got 5 points. He wasn't going to play Chubb anyways. He basically traded injured DK for Devontae to give himself a chance to win. And I don't really view Devontae as that much different than DK, overall. You know what I mean? If anything, this game log looks more consistent than DK usually is. 12, 17, 11, 14, then the piss game last week, but then 18. And don't get me wrong, that fucking Cleveland game was Mickey because he caught a 50-yard touchdown. But he has that ability. That's still basically what DK does,
Right,
DK
the one big play.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that overall it was a smart trade by Gorman. And imagine if Gorman wins that this week, imagine he wins 90-88, and it's holy shit, if I didn't make that trade I would have lost. But unfortunately, he did lose. So, but were you gonna say something?
No, I think I already said it. Oh, like Devontae Smith, just like you said, consistent, and he's the home run play guy. Same with DK. I was gonna say that. Like they're pretty similar. So
yeah, I'm slightly worried for Amari, just because I think he might just like he was bad in Cleveland, and I thought that he was intentionally playing bad to get traded. Now I just don't really know. He doesn't look. Maybe he doesn't look as terrible. He just didn't really get thrown to a lot this week, but I don't know. He still just doesn't look like all that great. And honestly, my main worry with Amari is the Bills just spread the ball out so much. It's 7 targets for Kincaid, 8 targets for Shakir, 6 targets for Keon, 6 targets for Amari, and it's
they're doing the Chiefs strategy pretty much.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to even know who to start there. But either way, Mike, a shout out to Mike regardless, because he picked Madison off of waivers. He picked Tyrone Tracy, who would have been in his lineup if he wasn't up. He's made waiver moves that has saved him from being the worst team in history. He made his team a competitively viable team these last 2 weeks with those pickups. So shout out to Mike. Now the last game, and I was gonna save that one for last because it was just a really good game. But we had me taking on Dewey, and I don't think anyone's been paying attention to this game as much as obviously I have, because I was the one playing Dewey. As it stands right now, I beat Dewey by 1.5. Have you paid any attention to what's been happening in our matchup over the last couple of days?
I was in Put-in-Bay this weekend, so I didn't even get to watch NFL, which is kind of crazy. I did a little bit. So also I wasn't on the fantasy app much, so I really did not see what was going on this week until I opened it Sunday night.
So what happened? It's halftime of the 4 o'clock games. Me and Dewey only had 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock players. So halftime of the 4 o'clock games, I'm up 100.88 or 100.98 to Dewey has 72, and I was like, all right, I'm up by almost 30, but just got to keep things going on. You got to keep things up. At that point, in halftime of 4 o'clock, I had Broncos, Chuba, Ken Walker, Kincaid. Well, halftime comes and goes. The Bills are blowing out the Seahawks, so the Seahawks just kind of are passing most of the third quarter, and Ken Walker doesn't play the entire fourth quarter because they're down by 30, and they just threw Charbonnet in, right? So Ken Walker, 0 points in the second half. Kincaid, again, the Bills are up by 30. The Bills don't really throw the ball all that much in the second half. Kincaid gets no points in the second half. Chuba gets a couple points, I think. And then the Broncos defense loses 4 points. So they lost 2 points from when you hit a yard threshold, and then they gave up a fourth quarter touchdown in garbage time. And I was like, man, I really hope that doesn't come back to bite me. But even after all that happened, so those 4 players combined for -2 points in the second half of their 4 o'clock games. Even with those players out, I'm up on Dewey at 98.98, and he has 84. I'm still up 15 points. But obviously Dewey still has Terry and Terry McLaurin and Jane Daniels. I was I just really hope as long as he doesn't throw a touchdown to Terry, everything should be okay. Now it gets to the point in the game where there's 20 seconds left in the game. I am up by 14, 15 points on Dewey. So I'm still as long as they don't complete a Hail Mary to Terry McLaurin, I should win this game. First throw, or maybe second throw, 20-yard pass to Terry. And I was like, oh shit. So now I'm only up by 10 because he gets points for Jaden and Terry. I'm only up by 10. And then obviously everyone saw Jane Daniels completes a fucking Hail Mary on the last play, not to Terry, but to Noah Brown. And I was freaking out because I was like, I don't think that's enough points, but what the fuck just happened? Is it close? I look and I was like, whew, okay, thank God. I'm up 98.98 to 95. I'm up by 4 points. And I was like, all right, sweet. This is that things worked out. Everything's okay. Like, even if there's a stat correction, I'm up by 4. It should be all right. And that's when Austin texts me and was like, oh shit, don't you have Darnell Mooney? There was a stat correction. And I was like, what? And he was like, he sent me a tweet. And I looked, and they took a catch from Darnell Mooney and gave it to Bijan Robinson. So they took like a point, 1.2 points for me, and gave Dewey 1.2 points. And I was like, did I just lose this week? Like, I was trying to like do the math in my head because I was like,
oh, God.
They take the catch away ball. I'll look. So now I'm up by 1.5, and all I can think is that there's still stat corrections open until Saturday. So I still don't even feel good. What the fuck are the odds that my player loses a point and Dewey's player gets a point from my player? What on fucking God's green earth is that? Fucking bullshit. I'm just hoping.
That would have been a nightmare.
Oh my God, I'm hoping so badly there's not another stat correction because I'm like, I'm still freaking the fuck out because at like a couple hours ago, there was another like, stat correction. We accidentally took 2 points off the Chargers defense and are giving it back to them. And I was like, what is going on? So I'm like, I wish this stat correction shit would just close today or something. I didn't have to worry, but I'm going to be worrying all the way up until Saturday because, I can't remember if you remember, Paul, because it was a while ago, and it definitely wasn't when we had a show, the Footbaps show going on. But there was a year where I was up by like 4.5 points or something, and it was Saturday night, or maybe I woke up on Sunday morning, and I was like, what the fuck? Why do I have one more loss on my record? And I looked, and I lost the previous week that I had won by 4.5. And I was like, how did that happen? Like, I don't even understand what's happening. And it turned out at some point, like, ESPN accidentally gave a defensive touchdown to my defense that they didn't get. And on Saturday night, they took away the touchdown, the 6 points. So instead of winning by 4.5, I lost by 1.5. And I was like, and ever since then, like, I've been scarred. Anytime I win a close game, I'm never like, let's fucking go, dude, I did it. Like, I'm until it's Sunday morning, like, I'm still going to be worried about this Dewey matchup. There already was one stat correction. Like, they might as well fuck me again and throw another one. Like, I get so fucked in fantasy. Like, my luck's so bad that I'm just like preparing for it. But it's just absurd to think that, like, there was 20 seconds left in that football game, and I was up by 15. And in 20 seconds, like, basically Dewey. So technically, we could say I was up by 13 or 12 or 13 if you want to switch the stat correction earlier. But the fact that Dewey got 11 points in one drive is like, what the fuck? In 20 seconds is like so fucked up. So yeah, I'm really worried about a stat correction there. But it's just crazy looking at this and being like, it's a 1.5 point win. So it looks like, wow, this game was like really close, but it was like not close the entire time.
Literally just from the Hail Mary. Also, could you imagine if Dewey, I don't know what he was thinking, doing Colby Parkinson with Cup and what's his name returning and putting in Ferguson to get him 3 point or 2 more points.
Yeah, he would have won if he played Ferguson.
That's just crazy.
My guess is just because Parkinson was Thursday night and Jake Ferguson was like questionable. I don't even think he was projected points at that point. But
yeah, could you imagine? That would make the stat correction lose at that
point. yeah, I would have. That would have been like I would have won by like half a point, and then no, I would have lost. And then, but I'm also thinking like if there's another stat correction, I'm gonna be so pissed because just because I was between Chuba and Chase Brown, and I went with Chuba, and like at the time I was like, what? Okay, it was only 2 points less. Like it's not even like I really chose wrong or anything. And now I'm like, wow, fuck, if I lose, like that actually will matter, and that's gonna fucking suck. So yeah, I'm still really worried. I cannot believe that it took a point away from me and gave it to Dewey. Like that's unheard of bad luck with a stat correction. So so now I'm 4-4. Dewey drops to 4-4. But let's go over the standings in full. In the East, Nick still on top at 5-3. Paul is in second at 5-3. Gorman is in third at 4-4. I'm in fourth at 4-4. Chip's in fifth at 4-4, and Austin's in sixth at 3-5. And then if you go over to the West, Ryan actually is in sole possession of first overall at 6-2, but also in the West, he's in first. Kyle's in second in the West at 5-3. Steve's third, 5-3. Dewey's fourth at 4-4. Mike now no longer last place, 2-6, and then Dave is 1-7 in sole possession of last place as well. It's actually wild to think like how close things are right now. We have 10 or wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 teams 4-4 or better, which is like
fighting for those 7 spots.
Yeah, and Austin's not even technically like.
Yeah, true.
Technically, Mike's not eliminated. Like, I think 7 losses is too many just for the sheer fact that everyone else has so many wins. But like, Mike wins 6 straight. He's 8-6. Like, you have a chance there. Like, I don't really know what to think this year. I'm actually gonna go to history real quick and look like what got you into the playoffs last year, because I would imagine it was 8 wins last year. Yeah, like. Last year you needed 8 wins. Like this seems like one of those years, you know how in the NFL, like there are years where a 10-6 or a 10-7 now, because there's 17 games, like a 10-7 team doesn't make it or something. That's 100% going to be this year. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
there's going to be
someone 8-6 is not making it.
I think that there's going to be at least one 8-6 team that doesn't make it. So now it comes down to like what people have to worry about. For me, I'm 4-4. Chip 4-4. Dewey 4-4. Gorman 4-4. We need to just win games in general. But for you guys at the top, and I think like most of you guys have a lot of points scored. I think Kyle might actually have moved up in points scored. Yeah, because he just scored like 130. So he's no longer like towards the bottom, but yeah, like it comes down to like, man, we're all so close in points scored. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I guess it's okay. So it's 4 of us are within 16 points of each other, which is crazy. But yeah, it's a crazy time. And I think we mentioned it before, how Gorman had that week where he scored like 160. Dude, Gorman, like, that is huge for him, because he can have piss weeks and it almost just evens out. Like that week was so explosive, you know? But like that's why I'm saying Ryan is basically safe. He's 6-2 and he's the highest scorer. He's easily safe. But like there's a lot of us that like no one besides Ryan is safe, I'd say. I'd say Nick is the next closest to being safe just because he has 806. Like you're 20 points back. That's not even that far back. But yeah, like look at that. Like you're 88%, Nick 85%. Like to be 5-3 and not be like 95%. Think about that. Like last year, if you were 5-3, I mean, I'm not going to go back and look, but I would imagine 5-3 last year at this point in the season was like the teams that started 5-3 probably had like an over 90% chance of making the playoffs. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna pull it up while we're going here. Gonna pull up what was it? Week 8?
Wait,
we're in week 9 now.
Does this show you like if
no,
you go
a Footbap episode and just
yeah. Go. It's probably week 9 or 8. Yeah, just see when we're at least 8 weeks through the season.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I want to, and then I can pull up like I'll have up who made the playoffs. So.
Oh wow. Chip 5-3 had a 79% chance, but that was because he was in the East, and the East was way better. On the West side, Ryan had a 92% chance at 5-3. Hold my beer, I'm not sure who that was. Had probably Gorman, I don't know. Had a 91% chance. So the West, because it was a little shittier.
I think it was because Chip's team was like beat up as fuck though. I think he had like injuries or something, or maybe his team wasn't. Wait, let's see how many points he scored on the year. So he's
somehow Austin, who is 6-2, had a 77% chance to make the playoffs. I don't know what was going on.
Well, I guess Austin was like one of the lowest scorers in the league, so I think that makes sense. And at that point, I think I don't remember him being 6-2. I remember him having a good record and being like he was like the second lowest scorer at one point.
That must have been his peak.
But yeah, no, that's fucking hilarious. Like, I guess what I should have said is more like, if you are last year, if you were 6-3 and you didn't have a shit ton of injuries, or your team wasn't like underlyingly ass, like you were a 90% plus make it. Like Nick's team, your team, Kyle's team, Steve's team, I'd say they're all like good. From what off the top of my head, I think they're all good teams, and they've scored like Steve's, in the top. They're all in the top like 7 scoring. So yeah, it's just kind of crazy. Just a crazy year. Let's check out. Actually, let's first look at the scoring here. So highest score. This is last year. it just loaded into last year because I was already in last year. But highest score is Ryan, which I think we already said. Lowest score is Mike. That's crazy. Lowest score, but 2 wins, and poor Dave only has 1. Highest scored on is Chip. Lowest scored on is Ryan. That's fucking incredible. Almost 100 points less scored on Mickey. I love how it works out too, where it's like we have these 4 at the top that are like all within the same range scored against. Then there's like a tier 2, like the tier 1 of like no Mickey, like that's 4 people. Then it's like semi Mickey. Actually, I don't know. Everyone's just like even after that. It's just it's like everyone's even besides Ryan, and then the 4 that are the most scored on. So yeah, it's funny. Let's look first of all division. Paul just murdering the division. Who's your 1 loss in our division? Nick.
Chip. No, it's Chip.
Oh, it's Chip. Good job, Chip. Yeah. But and then Steve is 4-1 in his division. Like Ryan 4-1 in his division. That makes sense. Mike is 0-5 in his division. So Mike's actually the East Coast Slayer. He's fucking taken out. He's played 5 games. He's 2-1 against East Coast. He's 0-5 against West Coast. So that's pretty sick, actually. The Gorman 0-3 at home. Was he 0-3 last week or just 0? I think he was 0-3 last week.
Yeah.
He had an away game this week. So Gorman's still 0-3, just struggling at home. Apparently I'm 1-2 at home also. So I'm apparently struggling at home. But Dave 1-3 at home, Dewey 1-3 at home, Gorman 1-3 at home. A lot of people struggling at home. There's really only a couple teams doing really well. People are just kind of fucking up their road matchups. Like Steve 3-0, absolute road dog. Gorman, he lost his first road game to Mike. He would have been 5-0. He was the original road dog.
That's a huge upset.
Yeah. But like Kyle 3-0 on the road. Dewey 3-1. It's Kyle 3-1. Sorry. Ryan 3-1. 3-2 is still good. 3-2. Like Dave just hasn't won on the road. Mike hasn't won on the road. That's to be expected. But like, man, it's kind of crazy. If we look at streaks, the longest win streaks are again Mike at 2 wins. That's so sick, and then me at 2, and then longest streak in general is Dave losing 5 in a row, which is tough. And if you think about it, Paul, I think I was saying to Ryan the other day, if I didn't lose to Ryan 84-82 or whatever it was, like I could be on a 5-game win streak, and that'd be pretty sweet. And with the way that this season's shaping up, where like we have so many teams that are competitive, it's like 4-4 in seasons past is probably like 4-4 in seasons past was probably more comfortable than like this is, because 4-4 last year was probably you were a 7 seed and like the 8 seed was 3-5, like at least a game behind you. But now this year it's like, oh shit, like I'm 4-4, and I think like there's 2 other teams that are 4-4 not in the playoffs. So it's like, it's fucking crazy, dude. Most roster moves is Paul, and least is Nick.
Nick with 2 is crazy.
The playoff bracket coming up here, Ryan, first round bye. If the playoffs started today, no surprise there. Then we have Nick as the number 2 seed. If the playoffs started today, he would be playing me as the number 7 seed. Kyle as the number 3 seed would be playing number 6 Gorman, and number 4 Paul versus number 5 Steve would be the last matchup. Now, this is an interesting little. Actually, we got interesting. This would be.
I like it all.
Yeah, this has interesting headlines all around. Nick beat me in the championship 3-4 years ago. So that would be like a revenge game for me. Ryan getting a bye in only a second year, and then Paul versus Steve. That's always a classic matchup. We got some good matchups up there.
I'd love to play Ryan in the playoffs. That'd be something.
Things have changed in the losers bracket. It's actually a sad day. Dave is now getting the first round bye for being the worst team in the league. So Mike has moved up to the 11th seed where he would be playing number 10 Austin. And then there would be number 8 Dewey versus number 9 Chip. Like, that's depressing. Both these teams 4-4, like either of them just deserve to be there's going to be 2 teams that deserve to be in that don't make it. I think when I said there's going to be 1 team that's 8-6 not making it, there could be 2, and I guarantee you there's going to be 2 teams that are at least 7-7 not making it. Like, this is a brutal year, Paul.
Yeah, it is really weird. We don't like it.
You love it because you're safe. You're perfectly safe here.
I mean, I'm still afraid, man.
I bet you have some Mickey matchups coming up, if I had to guess.
I do have 1 Mickey.
Oh man! All right, this is a crazy chart. Now let's take a look at how ESPN is projecting the standings right now. They project Ryan to be the number 1 team at the end of the year. Paul 2, Kyle 3, Nick 4, Steve 5, Dewey 6. That's crazy. Isn't Dewey like the 9 seed right now or something? So they expect big things from Dewey. He must be playing Dave this week or something. Gorman 7, me 8. Fuck you, ESPN. Chip 9, Austin 10. Mike has moved up from 12 to 11. Congratulations, Mike. And then Dave drops to 12. So let's take a look at the graph for this week. The highest riser was Kyle. Kyle jumps from the 7 seed or the 7 projected finisher to projected to finish 3rd, which is a crazy jump. I think that's the biggest jump on the year. Actually, me jumping from 11 to 7 1 week was the only other one that was just as big, it looks like. So,
dude, the fact you're on a 2-game win streak and only went up 1 spot is pretty crazy.
The fact that I'm 4-1 in my last 5, and they're like, nah, man, this guy's ass. So Kyle, huge jump up, and then because of that jump up, you see Nick drops 2 spots. Dewey drops 2 spots. Gorman drops 2 spots. So we have a couple of droppers there. Steve hovering around that 5 to 6 seed. Ryan just keeps going up and down. He's the 1 seed. He's the 3 seed. He's the 1 seed. He's the 3 seed. He's the 1 seed.
Like, me and Ryan are opposite. Like, our thing are intertwined.
What's your color?
I'm the white one.
Oh, so when Ryan. Okay, so Ryan since week 4 is 1-3-1-3-1. Paul since week 4 is 3-1-3-1. Oh, 2. Damn it, he didn't drop the 3, but that's still so fucking funny. That's super close. Let's see. Other than that, like, here we go. Mike, for the first time since week 3, is not projected to finish last, and now Dave is the new last. He was projected to finish last in week 2. He's back there. Yeah, it's interesting. There are how many teams haven't moved above? I guess technically I will say you haven't moved above the 6 seed, or moved above the 7 seed. Like, I was 7 1 week, but like me, Dave, and Mike are like the only ones, I think. Like, Chip started out high and then dropped, and then Austin apparently hit 6 at one point.
The other funny thing is that since week 4, we've had a new number 2 every week. Hasn't been number 2 before.
Oh yeah, let's see. Wait, so week 4 it was Nick, and then week 5 it was Steve. Week 6 it was Dewey. Week 7 it was Nick again. Oh wait, so then week 8 it was Ryan. So only 1 repeat second place. So do you remember what the one college football season where the number 2 seed was cursed? Where it was like every week the number 2 seed lost. Do you know what I'm talking about? That season.
Can't remember. I don't know.
It was that season where like no one knew who was even going to play in the national championship game because like every team in college football just kept getting upset. I want to see like college football
Like 2008 when the Florida Gators ended up playing Ohio State. Was that year?
I think it's something like that. Like, oh no, it was when
might have been 07
it was when it was definitely when the Buckeyes played them, I think. So it was 2008. I wish like there was something that says basically the 2 seed lost every week for like 8 weeks straight or something. Like if you were the 2 seed, you were losing. So let's see. Nick must have lost this week. Steve must have lost in week 5. Dewey must have lost in week 6. Did Nick lose this week?
Yeah, he did.
Oh my God! We have our own 2 seed curse.
Oh
Paul,
God.
the 2 seed, the 2 seed curse is coming for you. We've had a new 2 seed every week since week 4, so that is actually insane. And even if you think about it, like Steve lost as a 2 seed in week 2, and Kyle lost as a 2 seed in after the first week. So like we only have 2 weeks where the number 2 seed won. At this point, this is crazy. So you have to break the curse. The number 2 seed is lost every single week.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. So okay. Now knowing that, how nervous are you for this week?
I'm a little nervous. Nothing's guaranteed anymore, man. I'm a little scared.
All right, let's get to the waiver wire pickups this week. Let's see if there are any messages first. I'm assuming no. Usually Mike drops a message.
Yeah, we haven't in a while.
Yeah. Let's just go to recent activity. So let's go back to, wow, there were a lot of moves after the episode. All right, let's see. Gorman added the Lions defense on Thursday. Paul picked up Rashad Bateman, and I'm pretty sure dropped him. I dropped Jordan Whittington on Thursday because they played on Thursday, so I kind of had to get rid of him. I added Hunter Henry because Dalton Kincaid was questionable on Friday, and I was like, fuck, well, I guess I'm going to need a tight end. The tight end waivers are just brutal. Even Hunter Henry's ass now that Jacoby Brissett isn't, or now that Jacoby Brissett is their quarterback for like at least this week. Gorman added Quentin Johnston. I just love that he just keeps getting pat. He always finds himself on a team, dude. I love it. Ryan added the Jets defense. What'd they do for him? 4 points. All right. Paul dropped Rashad Bateman for Yoshi Vaz. I just wanted to look and see like if Bateman didn't score 0. So technically Bateman would have been a better play.
Yeah.
Ryan picked up Kamani Vidal. He's got an
another lottery ticket.
Yeah, Ryan's just basically gambling in fantasy. This is just fantasy football gambling.
He's preying on injuries. Fuck you, Ryan.
That's I will say it's like a dirty strategy because he literally is preying on injuries. And then let's see. Kyle dropped Christian. Austin texted me yesterday and was like, what the fuck is everyone doing? This might be the most straight up drops we've ever had in a day. Usually people don't drop people unless it's like waiver day. But no, in one day, Kyle dropped Christian Kirk. Paul dropped Yoshi Vaz. Steve dropped Diggs. Steve dropped Anthony Richardson. Ryan dropped the Jets defense. I don't know what the fuck was going on there. That's 5 drops. That almost never happens.
Yeah, three of them were injured. I was just sick of seeing that guy on my roster, so I wanted him off. And then I don't know what Ryan's Jets defense idea was, but I appreciate it. He joined the fun.
He was. Yeah, I mean, at that point, I guess I should have just dropped whoever I was planning on dropping. Steve added Bo Nix, who is the number 9 fantasy quarterback as it stands right now. And with Anthony Richardson, sucking, I mean, probably a good pickup for Steve. I picked up the Eagles defense. Paul picked up, Jalen Coker. I forgot about this guy. Jalen Coker's a Carolina wide receiver. Big things ahead for the Coke Master?
Maybe, potentially. Now that Leggett is probably the number 1, my idea is that corners will attach themselves to him, leaving Coker more open. And he had a good game. So.
Yeah, and then Kyle picks up Xavier Leggett. Man, I mean, this is crazy. Think about how shitty the waivers are. That people are flocking to waivers to pick up wide receivers that have Bryce Young throwing them the football. That's a crazy realization. Austin added Sam Darnold. So you have a good matchup this week, Colts. We'll have to see what Austin's cooking up there. Steve picked up the Commanders defense. Nick picked up the Bengals defense. Ryan picked up Taysom Hill. Great pickup for Ryan, actually, because he mentioned earlier that he needed a tight end for this week. It's like the perfect guy. You put him in, and he might run for 3 touchdowns. Against Carolina, he might run for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's definitely getting those goal line shits.
Those goal line shits, baby. You know, I get those goal line shits. I'm imagining like Taysom Hill getting nervous on the goal line and like shitting his pants. It's like, man, I just got a bad case of the goal line. You
call it the goal line runs. Get it?
Oh, get it? Fuck you. I wonder if Chip's actually playing City Skyline right now, or if he's because Let's message Chip. Are you actually on? That's why I know they play at 8, but I'm shocked he's actually on.
He's got to clear his mind.
Either way, back to the regular broadcast here. Paul picks up the Titans defense.
They played Jacoby Brissett, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and in Mike's name, just like I almost said Austin, I almost said Gorman because Mike's name is Sorry Austin and Gorman. Chip's typing. Mike, God fucking damn it. Mike picks up Kirk Cousins. Surprised he got him for 0. Dewey picks up Jonnu Smith. Gorman picks up the Patriots defense, and Mike picks up Sterling Shepard. So,
my only issue with all that is that Ryan had a chance to take Jonnu Smith and instead goes for Taysom Hill. I know it's a better play, but it's Jonnu Smith, and I mean his name is not Smith Books anymore. Oh my gosh,
you're right. Oh, so, well, his name isn't Smith Books, yeah.
I'll give him the pass.
I said I messaged Chip and he said I am, but I'm next to Allison who's in a work call, so I need to be quiet. Are you guys doing the pod and need a guest appearance? I'll say no, it's okay. I just didn't know if you were actually on. Thank you, Molly. Molly is letting me know that the Cavs are on. Go Cavs, everybody.
Cavs are on.
Are you
James
eating?
Is in town.
Okay. We're going to wrap things up here soon.
Our glorious king.
Either way, there were a ton of offers that went out. It was kind of crazy. Everyone's offering for the Bengals and the Commanders and the Eagles, and it was funny to just look at how many people are like picking up the same people and shit. I feel like it was kind of a lame waiver wire week. There wasn't anything crazy going on. Tried tricking Ryan into spending another $24 on Xavier Legette, and it didn't work. So we have that. But let's just get into this week's matchups. Actually, before we do that, we will read the recap from ESPN that they typed up for us last week. Paul, this shouldn't take more than just a second. All right. What a week. The scoreboard operator should get overtime pay this week for tracking Steve and Chip putting up a combined 221 points. It takes some special effort to win in this scenario, so give CeeDee Lamb their props for dusting the competition. Cheer up, Chip. Yeah, it sucks to lose, and yeah, you wish Jaden Reed played better, and yeah, this is a loss number 4 for you, but at least you got to put up 104 points and lose in style. Top scoring players were Jalen Hurts, CeeDee Lamb, Bo Nix, Kirk Cousins, and James Cook. Most valuable bench warmers. I feel like Dave's on here every week. Cade Otton on the bench, Cedric Tillman, and then Trevor Lawrence. The false starters, the worst starts this week were Jordan Love, Jordan Mason, and Amari Cooper. Congrats, Paul, for starting Jordan Mason, getting on the list. Now, the game changer was CeeDee Lamb. It's an anxious feeling not knowing what you're going to get from your players each week. It's a euphoric one when you see one of them go above and beyond. That was the case for Steve last week as CeeDee Lamb scored 33 points and helped bring the win home. Maybe next week Ladd McConkey will bring home the win for Chip. They're throwing shots. They're throwing shots, which I actually am just reminded of now. I don't think we actually went through Steve and Chip's game because Steve won by 14. He got 33 points from CD on like Sunday night or Monday night or something. But this was a closer game than the scoreboard would tell. I don't know. We don't have to spend too much time on it, but I do think we forgot to go over it. And obviously, we know Chip is 4-4 now, Steve 5-3. But yeah, for a while there, it looked like Chip was going to win this game, and Steve kind of took it over late. But let's get into this week's matchups. We'll start at this one just because it's the top one. Steve at 5-3 takes on me. Steve is projected to win by 6. Let's see. Steve's got Alvin Kamara going against Carolina, which should be 25 plus points. Oh God, Bo Nix against Baltimore. He should probably keep scoring 20. Baltimore's pass defense is so ass. DeAndre Swift gets the Cardinals. Their defense is ass. CeeDee Lamb gets the Falcons. Their defense is pretty ass. Dobbs gets Detroit. I mean, my only hope there is that maybe Malik Willis sucks. I mean, Kyle Pitts is all the way back, so that's that. And then Steve has Jacoby Myers in right now. I don't know if he's going to make any changes there, but I have Kyler against Chicago, which isn't a good matchup. Ken Walker against the Rams is okay. Chuba against New Orleans is like, I don't even know if matchups really matter. I feel like Chuba is capped at like scoring 12 points because the offense is so bad.
Jonathan Brooks, full participant today. Did you see that?
Yeah, but he has a torn ACL and shit, and I don't think they want to like. I think first of all the team just really likes Chuba, So I think what is more likely to happen is Jonathan Brooks comes back and just takes over Miles Sanders like 8 to 10 touches, Yeah. But I'm not. I know that like I knew that there was no point in trying to like trade Chuba because I feel like everyone would just be like, oh, Jonathan Brooks, but like how many times is a running back even good off of an ACL, right? Like I'm trying to think. Like I know Adrian Peterson that one year, but outside of that, I don't really remember any. Do you?
No. I couldn't name one.
So yeah, that could end. Maybe that could end up being like a thing later on in the season, but like as it stands right now, like I think they like Chuba, and as long as Chuba just gets 15 plus touches, like that's fine. It's not like I'm like super reliant on Chuba. Like I said, like the last I know he's like the running back 12, but he's just kind of been getting me like 12 points each week and shit. 8 points last week, so it's whatever. AJ Brown against Jacksonville, that's a good matchup. Darnell Mooney against Dallas, I think is like a fine matchup. I don't like that they're projecting him 12 points. Just for the sheer fact. Well, I guess he had. I was gonna say it kind of felt more like he just had the 2 good weeks, but I guess he had like a couple other weeks. I don't know. I would really like if Brian Thomas Jr. wasn't hurt because I think he's like the wide receiver 5 for me on the year. Like that's a huge fucking loss for me, dude. I basically could rely on him giving me double-digit points every week, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah, him being hurt this week specifically sucks.
Yeah, against Philly too, which is like useful. A good matchup. Yeah. Kincaid is like whatever. If he catches a touchdown, he'll score 12 points, and if he doesn't, he'll score 6. Chase Brown against Vegas is a good matchup though. And then defense as of right now, I just have Philly against Jacksonville because they don't have anyone healthy. So I'm hoping that their offense struggles. And I saw that the Jaguars were like the second lowest projected point total on the week. So hopefully that works out. But as it stands right now, like I need to win this matchup, but the more I look at his matchups, I just think he has better matchups for like his main guys. I think Alvin Kamara is questionable like every week. I don't think he's ever actually missed time this year, right? Yeah, he's just been. I think Alvin Kamara came out and said he had a broken hand like 2 weeks ago, but I mean he's still playing. Do you have anything to add here?
No. I think I don't want to jinx it, but I do believe that you're on a tear and it'll continue.
Yeah, I think I would feel a lot better if I had Brian Thomas Jr. because he is a major part of that tear. Considering he's gotten me 18 plus points in like 4 of the last 5 weeks. So not having that, like, there's really nothing to replace that. But I kind of think this is going to be like one of those weeks where I only score 80 or something. Like, I kind of, what I'm envisioning right now is Kyler gets 11 points, Chuba 10, AJ Brown 14, Darnell Mooney 6, Kincaid 6, Chase Brown 10, Ken Walker 10 or something. Like, just no one like really does anything, you know? Because I feel like I'm due for one of those at least. It's my own game, but I think I would. That's close to a guaranteed win that I have on Steve this week. We'll see the other matchups we have. Now we have a brotherly matchup here. Dewey versus Nick. Dewey is projected to smoke Nick as it stands right now. But I guess Nick. Okay, Dewey will be projected to win by like 9 points once Nick puts in.
Is it counting Adam Thielen since he's on IR? I don't know if I can do the math that quick, but it might not be counting him.
Yeah, maybe it's not counting him. And if he doesn't have him, who the fuck is he going to play? Either way, I don't know what to think. I think Kyron should score 25. I think Burrow should score 20. I think James Conner should score 20. I think Amon-Ra should score 20. I think Njoku should score 15. This is tough. I think this is going to be a really close game.
Yeah,
if you had to make me bet, if you had to make me bet, and it was like you do have this like 8-point, spread here, I would take the points with Nick. I think this is going to be a really close game and really high scoring. And you'd agree?
Yeah, definitely high scoring. Taking the over, no doubt.
I can't pick a side on this one, that's for sure. Let's take a look at a brotherly matchup. Could be game of the week. That's definitely on my radar for game of the week. Next matchup we have here is so that's why I'm just going to come out and say it now. So it's Paul taking on Mike. Paul's projected to win by 30. I think the second place curse is over after this week. I don't see a world where you lose to Mike.
We thought it was over.
Yeah, but what is it that you would be afraid of in this matchup? He's not going to have Tyrone Tracy, so he doesn't have a running back, and I don't think there's anything on waiver. We can check waivers, but yeah, he's fucked. There isn't a running back to even start. He's genuinely fucked. So basically, you're going to go up against Mike when he doesn't have a player. So what are you concerned about in this matchup?
I just think my team's been struggling lately. They're just hanging around 90, so could happen again. And Mike could hit 95.
I'll lay it out. Josh Allen 25, Jonathan Taylor 14, Jahmyr Gibbs 22, Cooper Kupp 20, T Higgins 18, Evan Ingram 10, Courtland Sutton 5. I feel like that's going to be enough to beat Mike.
Yeah, probably.
The only way Mike beats you is if Jamar Chase and Travis Kelce combine for 40 to 50 points. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, but it could happen.
I'm not saying it absolutely can't happen. I'm saying like that's the scenario that Mike needs to win. Piss game. I would guarantee you to win, but that's too safe of a route. Next matchup. We have 4-4 Gorman against 1-7 Dave. Dave currently doesn't have a quarterback in. So once he puts in Dak Prescott, Dave is only going to be projected to lose by 6 points. I don't know. I think I would take Gorman and the points there, if I'm being completely honest. I think Gorman has really good matchups, like Caleb against Arizona, Saquon against Jacksonville, Hopkins against Tampa Bay. Oh, God. I mean, he's even got Devontae against Jacksonville, too. Aaron Jones against Indy. I think... I don't know. I don't know if... Do you want to spend too much time on this? Let's see. Dave's got Cade Otton in now, so he's benched Cole Kmet, which means that's definitely going to blow up in his face. He's got Rachaad White in his lineup, so that's definitely going to blow up in his face, too. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, if I were Dave, I might play Khalil Shakir over Jordan Addison, but that's so tough either way. But I think Gorman's got this one
I think
secured.
Gorman's looking for revenge after last week. He can't lose to the lowest ranked teams twice in a row. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So yeah, we'll check in with this one. Gorman out for revenge. Dave's still looking for a win, but same thing with the last matchup. I just think it might already be decided. Might be already over before it even started. Next matchup is Kyle versus Chip. The books aren't even giving Chip a chance right now. Chip's projected to lose by 17. And Chip's lineup is set too. So this isn't even. Yeah, this is. Oh man.
He's starting.
Oh man.
McMillan.
He's starting Mahomes over Baker.
Ooh.
Did Mahomes do something last week? 18. Maybe that could easily blow up in his face. But yeah, I'm just gonna. This is the same as the other three. We have two. We started off with 2 banger matchups potentially, and now we're on 3 piss matchups. Kyle's gonna completely destroy Chip. I stand by that. I stand by that heavy. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's over. Kyle's on a tear again. Like some teams are just hot right now, and I think Kyle's one of them. Now that Puka's back.
Yeah, Kyle's hot and healthy.
That sounds. It's just a perfect storm for him. Yeah, Kyle's very hot.
very, very hot and very healthy. Yeah, I mean this one's over. It's just, Chip has no chance. Kyle wins. I don't think that's a cheating one. Kyle is my guarantee. Like I said, my guarantee would be Steve, but he's playing me, and I feel like that's cheap. So Kyle right now is my guarantee to win. And now we have another matchup right here, and this looks very interesting on paper. Austin playing Ryan. As we know, Austin's 3-5. Ryan, the number 1 overall seed. Austin is projected to win by 8 right now, but wait a second. Ryan doesn't have a defense. Ryan will pick up a defense and play one, and I bet it'll be closer to a pick 'em. A lot of questionables on Ryan's side, but I don't think anyone is in danger of missing besides DK Metcalf. If DK misses, I don't know who Ryan would start, but he would be projected to lose by like 5, 6, 7, 8, like around there. So what are you seeing in this matchup?
I'm seeing
an Austin W.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, I see an Austin win coming in. Ryan's team just no. All right, one of his 2 cheat codes is out in George Kittle. His other cheat code, Lamar, did not practice today. I'm sure he'll play, but I mean, maybe he's off his game finally. So I mean, Ryan can afford a loss, and Austin really needs one, so I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I just think this is catching Ryan lacking. You know, in the NFL where you have a matchup where it's like Detroit is playing the Browns, and they're like the next week. Let's check Ryan's schedule. Actually, let's do this real quick. Ryan's schedule. So he has Nick next week. There's way more on the line for Ryan next week than this week in terms of getting that number 1 overall seed. I think this is a look ahead spot for Ryan. He's going to look ahead. He's got Nick next week. He knows that he can afford a loss. He doesn't want to lose, but he's going to underestimate Austin, and Austin's going to come through. He's got great matchups in this, and I think Austin gets a much needed win. And yeah, Austin will be back on track. Ryan's still going to be safe, but it's going to come as a shock to Ryan. I don't think he'll be expecting this one, but I think so. We're both on the same page on that one.
Definitely.
And if we're talking total wise here, if we want to bet on any totals, I would take Austin's team total over 103. I think he's putting up 115 plus this week easily. Do you have any totals you're looking at this week or any guaranteed wins?
Guaranteed win, I'm going Gorman. Totals was the what was it, Steve? Was it or no, Dewey and Nick.
Dewey and Nick. Oh yeah. I would also take the over in their game as well. So that's all we got this week for you folks. I think we got through everything.
We hit it all. It's time to watch our king back in Clee.
My king is Donovan Mitchell. Are you rooting for the Cavs tonight? Or you're rooting for the Lakers tonight, aren't you?
First Cavs game I watched all year, and I'm watching my king.
Oh my God. The Cavs are up by 20 at the end of the first quarter. Donnie has 15. That's so fucking crazy. Damn it, I missed it. And also Syracuse is playing an exhibition game right now, and I got to watch that too. So, Footbap Nation, thank you for joining us.
Paul,
you got any other... Okay, go ahead. Just keep talking over me, you fucking asshole.
I'm just ready to go, man.
No, give us one last thought before we sign off here.
Current thoughts going through my head. Dave's team is healthy with Tyreek Hill back, but it's just not enough. Sorry, Dave.
All right, and that's one final thought to end the stream. Chip, if you're listening to this, for your sake, I hope the Yankees won. And for my Cavs fans out there, hopefully the Cavs won. It's looking good right now. But Paul, Footbap Nation,
let's ride.
Let's ride.